All right, let's just begin. Malia, hi, it's Christopher Buzik again. How are you today? I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for your patience. I wanted, as I mentioned yesterday, just to kind of clarify what it is that the information that I wanted to get from you so that I would be respectful of your time. And I've narrowed it down to one aspect of your program, which is the Sacred House, which was started with, I believe, help from CSC. And if you could tell me, well, actually, before that, if you could just tell me in your own words about the program. I always like to get that personal take on a nonprofit from its leader. And then if we could talk a little bit about Sacred House and also about um, uh, how it came about. And how it came about. I understand that there's one of your graduates who helped to find the space to rent it and was very involved in setting it up. So um, uh, a great success story, and I would like to include that in this profile as well. Okay. Uh, Thank you for that question. This CDC is doing something of a rebranding of its website. It's relaunching its website, and so it's including on the website all of the different kinds of programs that it has and nonprofits that it works with, or that it connects with financial institutions in order to provide support. Uh, and so uh, they have chosen six nonprofits that they feel are both great success stories and also, I think, broadly indicative of the different kinds of social programs that they help to foster and support. And yours is one of them. So this is a short profile, and it's about 500 or 600 words. And it's meant to really just the audience for it is institutional investors, family investors who might be looking to invest cash in a way that will promote social good. Does that make sense? Excellent. Okay. Okay.
And then also included in our 8-month program in the last couple of months is to get them prepared to come out, including discussions on housing, relapse prevention plans, and dealing with family and possible jobs.
Okay.
So,
All the reentry complications and possibilities.
right. So we've been doing that since 2009. And then while we've always acted as a bridge to employment and housing resources, those have always been limited. And so that's where the Center for Social Change came in. We have been members there since before I was involved. And they've always been a great support for us and a great connector. And so just through our membership and being there, I was one always complaining about the issue with housing. And Val, who works at the center, that's a special interest of hers also. And so it just seemed like when you talk about the housing and the transitional housing, like people always make it seem pretty complicated. And I was always, and I think Val agreed, that let's just rent the house. It's not that complicated. And, it has evolved because for sure there needs to be, it's evolved so that we have rules and stuff in the house. But it's pretty much a house that is a place for the women who come out to live until they can save some money and get back on their feet.
Okay. And these are women who are obviously already gone through the 8-month program in prison and completed it successfully. So,
Most of which,
okay.
at the beginning, I mean, this is probably not something to feature, but at the beginning, just timing-wise, because our women, they come out staggered, right? And so we rented the house, and we had a couple who were local and prepared to move in, and so there was a few months where there were empty beds, and so they took other people coming out of prison who were not in our program.
Understandable.
But that's not the intention.
Right. And I would imagine this is also does not need to be part of the profile, but just from my understanding, is the problem with housing or the challenge with housing one of is it a community-based problem where people don't want to have this kind of communal living situation in their backyard, so to speak, or is it more? What were the barriers that you were finding in the marketplace?
Well, the barriers is it's citywide. It's not a nationwide problem, but for sure in urban areas, and for sure in Miami, affordable housing is a problem for everyone.
Yes.
And people coming out of prison, it was especially difficult because they don't have jobs, they don't have money. And so, and in addition, they do not qualify to go into homeless shelters, which, first of all, it's not ideal. And I have, pulled strings to get people into homeless shelters. But number one, it's not ideal environment for them.
Right.
And number two, they don't meet the definition under HUD as homeless. And so the homeless shelters in Miami who get funding based on that definition do not want to take our women because they didn't get funding for it. And really there was no reason for them to take our women because there were plenty of other people who did meet that definition they could take waiting lists. So,
right.
But we do have relationships with some of them, and I have, gotten people in, but it's not. It was not a long-term solution.
Okay.
So, there just aren't places. Period.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what would happen is they'd come out, and then they would have no choice but to go back to where they came from, which is usually an environment that got them into trouble in the first place.
Right. So really, it was kind of a very difficult situation for someone who is dealing with the, I guess, the psychological aspects of reentry, which must be pretty profound. And then also just not knowing where they're going to live and how they're going to live.
Right. So the best example really is Crochet, who's the person who is like who lives at the house, who is the house mom.
Ah.
So how she came to be the house mom is that she was a lead graduate. I actually picked her up from prison and took her. She had $50 debit card, and that's it. And I took her to a home. We connected her with a job, but the job was in Broward County, and so I had to pull strings, and I got her into a homeless shelter there, which, it served its purpose, but somebody with less determination than Terche would not have stayed there. It's not a good environment, but it was a place for her to be, and so she was at that job. She continued to be in touch with us, and she was not wanting, she was committed to staying in the job for at least 6 months, but it was not something she wanted to do long term. It was a very difficult working environment, and it paid $8.20 an hour.
Oh, Madonna.
So through this organization, Transition Inc., which is the one that provides our employment teacher, I got funding to hire her for 3 months. And so I was at the set, we were at the office at the center at the time, full time. And I really didn't have the kind of, I had a ton of work, but not work that I could easily delegate to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I spoke to Naomi, no longer at the center, but she was at the time. And so we just was at an informal agreement where Terche, for the 40 hours funding that I got for her, Terche worked at the center for 20 of those hours. She did mainly work at the front desk. And she became, the environment there was amazing for her because they have a lot of programming. They have meditation and yoga classes, and they have a lot of people coming through there who were interested in her story, and she's got a very dynamic personality, and she just fit right into the culture there and thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her calling me because a lot of them do cooking there, and they had some, I think they used to do some basic cooking stuff there. They have center had all kinds of stuff happening. I remember her calling me once asking me what kale was. Oh, yeah, because at the time, I don't think they had them anymore, but they had somebody growing vegetables, whatever that's called, hydroponic, or whatever that is. They had somebody growing kale. So anyway, when it came time, when the funding for us expired, we really could not afford to hire her on. And the truth be told, again, we're really, really small. I mean, it's basically just me and the teacher and the case manager. And she just she just really got on well with everybody there, so they offered her a full-time job.
The Center for Social Change?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
And so she was, I think by then, working for them. And so when Val and I started talking about this whole house thing, and Val was really the one who went and started, she was working with the realtor and looking for potential houses. Crochet was involved in that process. And then when we rented the house, Crochet moved in and has taken on the role of sort of house mom. But she still works. I don't know what her exact position is because they change titles and stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
But she does something at the center, an outreach or, but she still works for them.
Okay. Jared had mentioned to me when he was filling me in on your program, the LEAP program, that other graduates of the 8 months in prison who come out and who are in the Sacred House also volunteer at Center for Social Change, or they have the opportunity to do so, and that's a good thing
Well,
because
it's actually a requirement. So
ah
when they come out, we have a process. So for the first 48 hours or so, they have stuff they have to do. We take them to register at transition for possible job placement. They get groceries, they get their food stamps, they have to register with the sheriff's office, they're on probation. So within the first 48 hours, they're dealing with all of that. And then they need to start looking for work.
mhm.
And so we really did not want them just sitting around the house all day. So they are required to be at the center between 9 and 5 every day. So while they're there, they are looking for jobs. They have access to computers there. They're volunteering. Now, there's one woman, I mean, she's probably a good example also. So, a lot of them are pretty unskilled. But there's one that graduated and was working there, Michelle. She is very skilled. She's a contract business or something.
Okay.
So, of course, for the first day, they were doing, I don't know, painting or they had stuff that needed to be done there. And they recognized immediately that, wow, she's skilled and we need her. And so they offered her a job within the first 3 days.
Wow.
And she continues to work there full time.
That's great. And then this is a collective space, or it's a collective workspace, as I understand it. So there's many nonprofits who come in and out of that space, and whom one could meet if you were working there or volunteering there. Is that correct?
Yes, and that does happen. So, for example, the center, there was another one of them, got Deja. I don't know if you've met Deja, but she works at the center, and she's interested in some, I think it's called agency or something, but she's interested in some particular way of identifying and leveraging skills and collaboration. And I don't know if it had the long-term impact that she had hoped for, but it did have a positive impact because what she did is there were several of us who are members at the center who are involved in some aspect of prison system. So there's one nonprofit, Exchange for Change, and they go into the men's and the women's prisons and they teach writing. They do creative writing and poetry. And then there's another guy who was a member, very educated businessman, but he had served time, and he was really interested in starting a program similar to what we do. He was interested in doing that at the men's prison, and there was one or two other nonprofits. And so anyways, we met periodically to figure out if there's a way that there would be like a synergy or something. And I don't know that anything direct came up because of that, because it was like herding cats to get everybody to attend.
I can imagine.
But what has happened as a result is that they started a little Facebook page called the Prison Collective Prison Impact, something, the Prison Collective, something like that. So we're all on there, and for sure, we definitely reach out to each other when things like, so for example, we all have to deal with getting clearance for our volunteers to come in, and it's hard to get the prison to schedule those. So one of us will get one scheduled and post something on Facebook. Hey, I've got one scheduled. You've got volunteers that need to do orientation. They're welcome to, so, or somebody will
Yep.
because of that process. And I actually hired Women from Exchange for Change to come in and do a trauma and journaling class for our women. So, there's those kinds of connections that are made because we're all there.
That's wonderful. I understand that you've been involved for about 3 years. You were involved for a year prior to. I'm sorry. There's a very characteristically New York siren going on outside. Um, Before becoming executive director, that you were involved for a year as a mentor. Is that correct? So, how did you become involved with this? Because obviously this is something that one must have a real passion for, and if one does, it's tremendously good work. I mean, it's wonderful work, but not the kind of volunteer work that you find in the phone book.
And where?
In the phone book.
Oh, right. Yeah, so I actually used to be a prosecutor. I was not a career prosecutor. That was early in my career. But, I always had sort of a sense of the inequities and the injustice in the criminal justice system. So probably why I didn't end up being a career prosecutor. But, so I did have that background. And then I'm from Miami, but I lived away for like 12 years, so I came back and just through a friend, I attended a presentation where they were looking for mentors. And so I wasn't working at the time, so I just agreed to be a mentor. And, to go into the prison is pretty self itself because the women, at least the ones who choose to do this program, are so enthusiastic and receptive and happy. They're literally a captive audience. It's just, and so I, had a good relationship with a couple of the women that I mentored, and then I was asked to be on the board. And so it was definitely a grassroots. It's been around for a while, but it's still like funding. It's just the bane of my existence. I'd never done nonprofit work before, but they really had never raised any money. Like the most they ever raised was like $30,000 to underpay a part-time instructor and a part-time case manager, and everything else fell on the founders who were retirement age, and they'd been doing it, and they were just burnt out. And so they just literally, one got sick, and they just couldn't do it. So it just got to the point where they needed somebody. They really couldn't afford to hire anybody, so I agreed to do it. So I agreed to do it. So free, and it doesn't matter if you're qualified. So I like. So I think I just brought a different energy and experience to the work, and so we're doing better in terms of fundraising, and there's certainly a lot of awareness of our organization now. Now we just have to leverage that to be able to get enough support so that we're financially sustainable. But and now it's like you can't get out. It's like a black hole. Once you get in, you just can't get out. And then the other thing, this is not really the center so much, but the big thing that we are doing, and that's just been sort of a time suck on time and soul. We got a grant from the Miami Foundation to start this like thrift boutique where we train and employ women coming out. God willing, we'll make a little money.
Okay.
So our grand opening is next. We open, but the grand opening celebration is next week.
Just parenthetically, ex-coworker of mine, an old boss of mine from Condé Nast, she lives in Connecticut, but she travels to Miami all the time. I believe her family is from Miami, and she just She's a great passion for the city, and she's just started as the creative director of a jewelry of a kind of a handmade jewelry company. I just saw it on Facebook. I'm due to get back in touch with her, and you know what? If they can contribute things to the thrift store, or if she can suggest help in any way, I'll be happy to pass that along.
Yeah, I am very receptive. Very, yes, because I do think that we need to attract. I mean, yes, donations would be great, awesome, but also people who are sort of in fashion and trendy and in that arena. It's a whole because it's definitely. It's not like a Salvation Army kind of thrift store. It's very boutique-y.
Yep.
Um, and so we definitely need to attract people who are interested in sort of being, trendy. But I'm not the trendiest person, so.
Well, Michelle, my friend Michelle Cardone is. I don't know if people our age are trendy in that way, but she's very fashionable, and she's got a big heart, and she knows something about going through hard times. So I'm happy to just mention it to her whenever we catch up, and perhaps she can be a resource.
Oh, that would be great. Is she in New York also?
She's in Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut, right? You said that.
Yeah. I think she just started as the creative director of this kind of a very boutique jewelry company that makes jewelry with that has personal messages attached to them, and I won't say more than that. So, but it's a meaningful, yeah.
So, just out of curiosity, so are you a writer and so you're doing the content for the website?
Yes, I am I'm a copywriter, and so I've been hired to do these 6 profiles for the website. So if I do halt sometimes, and if there's gaps in my knowledge, it's because my learning curve is very steep here, and I don't know. I'm not 100% filled in on what's going on behind the scenes. I've concentrated.
So you don't work for the company; they hired you to do the writing.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, because I asked, so I like to write myself, and over the years, like I used to have a radio show, and like I just I think people who write do it because they're curious about things and they like to ask questions. And the guy that I spoke to before, Jared, I could tell that he's not. He's just like the last, like the curiosity and asking the question or listening. I don't know.
He's a total mensch, and let me just say, he knows, he's very efficient in Excel, and I think that's pretty much the opposite of a writer.
Yeah, so I got because he was like I thought like he was interviewing me, and he was the worst interviewer, and
he got a lot of good information from you, because he passed it all along to me, I have to say.
I forced it on him. I've done my spiel so many times, and so, like, if somebody wants to know about me, I'm very clear on what I think they should know.
Yeah.
What it was.
Well, you were able to communicate that, which is awesome. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention here, and it's slipping my mind, so it'll come back to me. So Tarshay was mentioned to me by Jared as someone who is a natural success story to cite as part of this profile. Again, the profile is very short, so it's not like I have the license and the freedom to write a full story, I feel, because most of the nonprofits that I've been working with for them, like yours, are ones that do very good work, and that have a lovely and complex story. Does that make sense?
A what story?
A complex story.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and so just even getting the, I mean, um, I will do justice to what Leap provides and a brief history. And I would like to mention Tarshay. Um, I have not yet gone onto your Facebook page, but I believe that. Do you have a video of her speaking, or do you have any quotes from her that exist?
Well, yeah, so this is what I was going to recommend. So,
Okay.
I mean, you're welcome to interview her, but you might not even need to. So there's two things. If you go onto our Facebook page, literally just today or yesterday, I shared a link because the Miami Foundation featured her in a story. There's a picture of her
Oh,
in
great.
the story. Okay?
Yep.
And then on our website, there's a very short blurb. There's a photograph and an even shorter version of her story on our website.
Great.
And so there's and those two things. And then there's also, you would have to scroll down further. We're pretty active on social media, and if you can't find it easily, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
But on our Facebook page, there was a Miami Herald article, and in fact, the Miami Foundation has used a picture from that article of Crochet. But there's a Miami Herald article that also, it was about Leap, but it told her story in that also.
Okay, that will give me all the information that I need.
But she's very receptive and accessible, so.
I would love to. I'm afraid I don't want to reach out if the opportunity to use her words doesn't pay out in the end. On the other side, you will be quoted because you're very articulate and passionate, and she will be mentioned and highlighted. And I'll also make sure that a copy of the article, when it gets towards a final draft, is sent along. I would so much appreciate if you would take a look and make sure that I haven't made any mistakes or inaccuracies. That would be a great help.
Okay, no problem.
Hey, last week I went to a New York Times talk with Angela Davis and Patrice Cullors. It was amazing.
Wasn't it the one at Columbia? It was a different talk.
This was not at Columbia. This was a New York Times talk. That's one of their series where they bring people together, and so they shared the stage and spoke a lot about social justice and race relations in our country. But there was a lot of talk about the prison system and some very, very surprising, to me, statistics about the growth of the prison system in the last 40 years. And they mentioned in particular that women of color, if they have any kind of mental problems, mental illnesses, or just when they get in touch when they meet law enforcement, very often it leads to an arrest. It was a very eye-opening talk, and Patrice Cullors has a new book out called "When They Call You a Terrorist."
I don't know who she is.
Okay. Patrice Cullors is a community organizer, and she is one of the few people who started hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was in California in a prison town mentoring someone in prison, and when the news came down that George Zimmerman was found not guilty, and she said she was so isolated. She couldn't take to the streets in a prison town in California. She went to social media, and another activist and community planner wrote a letter of support to the Black community. And in it, she said Black Lives Matter. And so Patrice forwarded it on and added the hashtag, and the rest is kind of history. But very, very,
Wow.
yeah. I'll send you the link to the talk. The last time I checked, it said that it wasn't cleared for broadcast. So I don't know if that's a timing thing, if they have to kind of vet it before they put it up, or if there's some other issue. But I'll definitely send that along if you're interested.
Oh, so I have to ask, where in New York are you?
I'm on the Upper West Side.
Oh, my daughter just moved in. Well, now it's been almost 2 years. She lives in Chelsea.
Ah, okay.
Doing a whole New York thing.
Well, Chelsea's a great place to live. So how old is she, and what does she do here?
She'll be 24 next week.
Ah, that's wonderful. Well, this is, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Company. I'm always saying, what do you consult on? Like, you don't know how to do anything. What are you consulting on?
You know what?
She tells me, and I don't understand it. I'm okay, whatever. Yeah.
With the pace of change in today's world, young people can certainly consult with the rest of us on what the newest thing is. Because I stopped keeping up a long time ago.
She's a psychology major. Psychology is working like for these big companies. And I'm just fascinated. I think it's a scam. I just don't believe that he's doing anything that could be worse. And she agrees. She's like, I can't believe how much they pay us for this.
Well, she's getting experience, and just living in New York is an experience.
Yes. I'm always wanting to move into her room with her, but she keeps the roommate just to make sure that never happens.
Let me tell you, I don't know. New York is, when I moved here, I was living here for. I went to NYU. I graduated. I got a job, and one of my first jobs was as a salesperson for Harper's Magazine. Believe it or not. And I was at a lunch with a client who was an older woman, and she asked me how long I'd been in New York, and I said about 6 years. And she said, "Oh, if you make it past 5 years, then you'll probably stay for a long time. Most people who are going to leave New York leave before 5 years." She said, "But everything that you love about New York and everything you hate about New York, you'll always love and hate. That will never change." And it's really kind of true. I've been here for 35 years, and the things I love, and the things I hate, I've never gotten used to.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that my daughter does not end up being one that wants to escape. I have visions of her being here with me. Although, if I could afford it, I have to admit, I would totally live there. I feel like if I had a job that would support me comfortably enough to not, be in a hovel, but that's just too hard there.
It's a very hard place. I remember when I first moved here, it took me 6 months to learn how to walk fast enough.
Where did you come from?
I came from Binghamton, New York, upstate New York. So I was a cow. I was from the cow country.
Yeah, well, I live in Miami now, but I raised them in Colorado, and she asked me what a Jap was. I'm like, honey, you've been so sheltered.
That's funny. Where in Colorado?
Boulder.
Really? Okay. Wow. Wonderful.
She always went to kind of groovy little hippie schools, and now she's told that I don't know where I went wrong, but at least I don't have to support her anymore.
Well, Boulder's one of the places I'm looking at as a possible retirement location, because you can't retire in New York City. You wouldn't even want to.
Boulder's very expensive.
Ah.
I still have a house there. I rent it on Airbnb. I'll give you a friends and family deal if you want.
Okay.
My vision is I keep thinking I'm going to split my time, but now I don't go as much as I'd like. I was
That's what I hear. I practice Shambhala meditation, a form of it's a.
Me too.
Oh, you're a Shambhalian! Oh my goodness, how wonderful! No wonder we got on like a house on fire.
I go to sometimes I'm in New York. I'll do a program there, Shambhala Center there.
Yes. So wonderful. That's great. um, yeah, and so there's a lot of Shambhala is very important in Boulder. The university's there, of course.
To me,
Yeah.
everybody there does it.
All right. Well, great. So now I know that we're going to be friends. In addition to having this this wonderful conversation, I thank you for your time, and
You're welcome.
and I will, as I say, send the article along, and I may pester you with a few emails with follow up questions if need be.
Okay. Now, and you have my email.
I do.
Okay, great. Okay, it was a pleasure.
Thank you, Malia. The pleasure was mine.
Bye.
Bye bye. Wow, that is just amazing. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Philippe. Output is that. Input is internal.